All right. I'll call our regular meeting of the Town of Culpeper Planning Commission to order. Can we please call the roll?
Mr. Serio?
Here.
Mr. Fitzsimmons?
Here.
Mr. Flanagan?
Here.
Ms. Schmidt?
Here.
Mr. Clements?
Here. All right. Approval of the agenda?
So moved. Second.
All right. We have a motion and a second to approve the agenda as presented. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. We have an agenda. Approval of minutes from the January 29, 2026 work session.
Motion to approve?
A second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve the minutes as distributed. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. All right. Comments and correspondence from citizens, visitors, and delegations in the audience. This is an opportunity for citizens to comment on any matter that is not scheduled for public hearing this evening. Is there anyone here who wishes to speak on an item not open for public hearing? Okay. Then we'll move on to new business. Yeah. Yes.
I'd like to make one small.
Sure. If you just state your name and address for the.
Todd Brown, 720 Zeuswin Drive, here in Culpeper. We've got a development that is coming our way that's presently right now behind the Culpeper Healthcare Center and coming towards the golf course. The lights that they have chosen to use on their streets are incredibly bright. Got a lot of pictures. So bright, in fact, that folks from apparently the neighborhood next door, country club estates, etc., have painted 3 or 4 of the lights with a roller to block the light going into their neighborhood. Well, they're going right in front of us. And I believe there's a better choice of lights that could be discussed anyway for the development. Right now, they're bright LEDs. And as you know, there's soft white LEDs that could be used or such a thing. So I went by, took pictures, looked at the lights. They're pretty darn bright. And some of them are right in the bedroom windows of the houses that are for sale there. Well, those folks are not going to be too happy. I spoke to one gentleman. He said, it doesn't bother me now that I've blacked out my windows. Okay? So that's the light situation that we're looking at there. They're coming our way. We know they're coming our way. And we don't need to be blinded by lights in front of us. And if you get a chance, go by that neighborhood, take a look, and I think you'll be quite surprised, not only how bright the lights are, but that probably half a dozen of them have been painted, literally with brown paint to subdue the lights going into the other neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Can you say the location again? It's the Greens.
It's the Greens.
The Green.
Greens, yes.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Moving on. Let's see. All right. So we're at new business. Public hearings allow the commission to gather information from interested citizens on the agenda items. Citizens may speak in reference to each item on the agenda for a time usually limited to 3 minutes. Commissioners and staff may ask questions of anyone attending the hearing. Speakers are asked not to direct questions or comments to each other. Speakers are not allowed additional time for rebuttal. This is a hearing, not a debate. Questions may be directed to commissioners and community development staff during office hours. All right, I mentioned that off the top. We have 2 public hearings tonight. The first one is public hearing conditional use permit CUP 61872025. Staff will introduce an application for a conditional use permit made by Caitlin Altizer on behalf of the property owner Parvati LLC to establish a family daycare home for up to 12 children as an accessory use to the single-family dwelling at 1660 Nicely Court. The property is identified as tax map 41G-3-71 in the East Fairfax Magisterial District. Lewis.
Yes. Good evening. I'm Louis Pancotti, Town Planner, and I'll be presenting the staff report for CUP Case 6187. This is a request for a conditional use permit to operate a family daycare home for up to 12 children as an accessory use to the single-family dwelling at 1660 Nicely Court. The property is located in the Meadows of Culpeper subdivision. I would like to note here that in addition to the town regulations for a family day home, they will have to adhere to all state and federal requirements. The Virginia Administrative Code establishes the standards for licensed family day home, including licensing procedures, training requirements, record-keeping standards, and home maintenance requirements.
Are they in the process of getting a license?
I know they are here tonight. They might be able to answer that for you after the
Great,
staff
thank you.
report. But Section 27-7.60 of the UDO outlines the town's requirements for family daycare homes. If the application complies with all regulations of that section, the application can proceed through an administrative process. However, if one or more of the regulations cannot be met, the application must receive a conditional use permit. Section 27-7.60.3b requires that family daycare home lots be at least 10,000 square feet in area. The parcel in question is only about 8,534 square feet. Additionally, no more than 2 employees are allowed in conjunction with a family daycare home. According to the applicant's cover letter, her daughter, who resides in the home, will help full-time, along with a neighbor that will help when needed. This would bring the total possible workers of the family daycare home to 3. As for parking, the applicant must demonstrate the availability of employee parking on-site in excess of the required dwelling unit parking. Dwelling units require 3 spaces. So with the 2-car garage and space for 2 spaces that meet the dimensional requirements in the driveway, the lot has 4 total parking spaces.
Thanks, just like there's 4 in the driveway.
The way the property line is, it doesn't. A portion of the driveway is technically in the right of way.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So
I'm sorry. The assertion is that concrete apron is a 4-car parking area, or is there street parking included in that too?
just the way that I'm saying that there's 4 is that a parking space per the UDO's requirements is 18 feet deep. So with the driveway, and it also has to be 4 feet from the right of way to be considered a parking space. So the driveway I measured out roughly from the right of way to be about 25 feet. So that's only deep enough for one space and then one space next to
So
it.
not 4, but
Oh,
yeah,
but
the
you're also-
requirement is 4. Yeah, go ahead.
2 in the garage.
And then 2 in the garage, yes.
That's what they're getting for.
Okay.
The applicant has provided a sketch showing compliance with all the other regulations. A 6-foot wood fence has been constructed around the rear and side yards. Pickup and drop-off times will be staggered as the operation will be 24 hours. Pickup and drop-off locations can be shown here at the end of the driveway. And they also show at least 75 square feet of outdoor play area per child.
Where's the gate to the fence?
So there is a gate on this side here,
Okay,
and then there's also a gate on the outside here.
going to that common area. Okay. Yeah,
Yes.
okay.
Here are some pictures of the backyard. This is the walkway leading from the gate in the front, and then this would be looking
Gotcha.
towards the back. In reviewing a conditional use permit, the Planning Commission must consider 5 criteria. First is consistency with the comprehensive plan. The property is located in the suburban neighborhood character area where primary uses are single-family and 2-family homes. Family day homes are permitted with the additional regulations and commonly established as accessory to single-family homes. The town's economic development goals include the encouragement of town-wide commercial redevelopment consistent with existing zoning and encouragement of quality residential growth. The applicant has indicated that they intend to serve members of the town's sizable medical community by offering services during non-traditional working hours, which aids the vitality of that significant portion of the town's economy. As for compliance with applicable regulations, the applicant is compliant with the family day home standards except for the minimum lot size and number of employees. This is the reason for the request instead of going through that administrative process. Next, the commission must consider adverse impacts and compatibility with the surrounding area. The applicant states that the traffic impacts will be minimized by the fact that the property is located in a cul-de-sac and that the pickup and drop-off times will be staggered. Also, staff is proposing a condition that will prohibit pickup and drop-off times between the hours of 8 p.m. and 6 a.m. Lastly, there is no anticipated impact on the water quality, as this parcel is located outside of the watershed protection district. So, as this is a conditional use permit, the Planning Commission may recommend conditions to Town Council. Staff is recommending the following the conditions for the Commission to consider. So, number one, unless otherwise specified in these conditions, the family day home shall meet our requirements of the UDO. 2, no more than 3 employees, including the primary operator, are allowed in conjunction with the family day home. And 3, no pickup or drop-off shall occur between the hours of 8 p.m. and 6 a.m. daily. I'd be happy to answer any questions you have for me, and the applicant is also here if you have any questions for them.
Anyone have any questions for staff?
Yeah, I do. Is the applicant the owner of the property?
No. They're
They're
a tenant.
renting.
Yes.
The renter allows them to do that, to have a daycare?
They signed the application and they also submitted a letter with the letter fully acknowledging that the property will be used as a daycare or accessory.
So the owner knows it and is in agreement, okay?
Yes. Yeah.
Understand.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
If this is approved and the daycare goes ahead, it's for up to 12 children. There's no ratcheting down 5 children, 6 children. It's for 12 children.
It would be up to 12
Up to
children.
12
Yes.
children. And that would attach to the operator or to the property.
To the conditional use permits typically run with the property.
So that would be forever after with that property unless in some way revoked. Yeah. Thanks.
So could we condition that they would require state licensing? Well, they would have to have that anyway.
This is
Yes.
step 2 to get the state license. It's come to us, get approval.
Right. I'm just trying to figure out, right, so because this conditional use goes with the property, there is a way around that also ultimately ties it to the business.
There
It-
is.
I mean,
Not necessarily tied.
if another person were to come into this same space, they would have to go through the same state licensing process
Yes.
to get back here.
Yes, but they would have this.
They would already have this in place.
Yep.
Yeah.
The first condition here says that it has to meet all UDO requirements of section 2776, which does have a regulation requiring state licensing.
Okay.
So if they don't get the license, they don't operate,
Yes.
no matter what we decide.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
If the applicant is the tenant, does the property owner since the effect will be to the property, does the property owner have to concur? Have they concurred?
Yes.
You should-
They have. Yes.
You didn't listen to my question?
You don't have it listed here.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Mr. Pancotti, so what if
All right. Yeah.
what if the daycare was to operate or relocate somebody somewhere else and the new tenant took over? Would they be able to continue to use the conditional use permit without a license?
Not without a state license.
So what is the trigger so the town would know that they have vacated the premises and somebody else is there operating a daycare?
They would also need a business license from the town. That would go through the clerk's office, and they do get routed to the planning department. And any time a business closes at a location, they close their business license with the clerk, and we are also notified of that.
So it's an administrative task for staff to take care of. Okay.
So that conditional use goes with the property, so the next people could move in, and if they got the business license and all that, they could operate a 12-child daycare center as well.
In compliance with the conditional use
Right.
permit.
Not a 12.
Now, you mentioned also,
I'm sorry, not a 12 child, because we don't decide on how many children they can keep. The rest of the licensing develops.
12 child maximum.
Okay, but we don't decide that on a conditional use permit, how many children they have. The state requires a certain requirements. I mean, it's not conditional.
Part of this is because they want 12 children instead of the 5. They wouldn't have to have the conditional use.
If it was less.
It's only 5 children.
Yes.
Oh, okay,
Or
okay. gotcha.
between 5 and 12 has to meet all those standards. Less than 5, we don't regulate.
Okay. And if you don't have the minimum lot size there anywhere, did you? They don't meet the minimum lot size,
Yes.
correct?
Their lot size is 8,534 square.
Okay.
Is there an image of the backyard? Yeah, but not a, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
It's pretty steep, isn't it? As I remember driving back there, it's pretty straight down.
There's a stream in the back.
It's a pond or
Yeah, it's
something.
a
isn't it?
pond.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Almost a lake.
Fishing.
It's big.
So I have a question about the licensing procedure, and it may be outside of your expertise. Do they examine the property, or do they just examine the personnel, the licensing?
It's my understanding they do both.
Okay, so they will also.
For the state requirements, yes, they have regulations for the site as well as the operators.
Thank you.
And by restricting the number of employees they can have, we are in effect, because of the sort of chart that the state uses for how old these children can be, based on how much staffing they do, we are essentially setting a limit on how many children of a certain age they can have.
Yes, in terms of what combination. I mean, it's still possible that they could still have 12,
Right.
depending on
Older
their
children,
ages.
probably. Yeah.
Oh, I remember seeing that. It was like points depending on the
Not how old.
age. Who regulates that?
The state.
Okay. I don't know what else I was going to ask now. I'll think of it. Oh, so those 2 parking spots in the front of the house in the driveway, they pretty much have to be kept open then, right, for people coming and going? Like
They're
they
sure-
couldn't have one of their own cars sitting there, or they shouldn't have. And then people pulling in to get the kids, or
They do show their pull up and drop off at the edge of the driveway, sort of at the end of the cul-de-sac. It's not anticipated that people would be there very long.
But they would have to designate that. Per the UDO, they would have to have a designated area that says drop off.
Well, what do you mean? You mean?
I mean, when I'm reading the
or-
UDO for home daycare, it's saying that you have to have a designated. Does it have to be signed?
We would not anticipate it being signed. Essentially, what they're doing here is designating the end of the driveway as the
Alright.
pickup, and it's more just so that it's not an undefined location that cannot be evaluated by the planning commission in their deliberations for this. Essentially, if they're proposing something across the street as the pickup and drop off, there could be concerns if there's not a crosswalk in the proximity or something along those lines in terms of safe access. So, in this instance, with it, we consider that end of the driveway to be their designation.
Is there a requirement that the full 4-car area be available for pickup and drop off? Or can it be multi-use so that they have a car, the resident has a car or 2 in that area, and say inside the garage, and just the apron is available for pickup and delivery? Is that contemplated, that kind of flexibility?
The parking standard only comes into play with the employees really in the UDO. There's no requirement that the pickup and drop off necessarily has to be part of that parking
But they're
area.
required by the UDO for home daycare to only have. They can't have more than 2 drop offs happening at the same time. And then we're also requiring them to stagger. So if you just go by the language of what's in the UDO, they shouldn't have more than 2 vehicles picking up at any time.
But does the language of the UDO say that they must keep that 4-area car exclusively for pickup and drop off, or can it be a combination of pickup and drop off as well as employee or residential use? I'm just asking.
Yeah,
if
it's a
it's
good question.
spelled out or not. I don't know if it.
It would not be. It's just the UDO just says they have to have additional parking for employees and a pickup and drop off area.
Additional parking for employees.
Yes.
I have a question concerning the condition on the hours of or like when they would be allowed to pick up and drop off.
Sure.
Considering the community they're intending to serve, and knowing what any of us who live on even connectors in town experience every morning, starting at say 3:30 or 4 o'clock, we recognize that most of the people leaving Culpeper to go to work are doing it long before 6 a.m. And some of these people, so if someone is working as a first responder or a hospital or these kind of employees that were, the parents that were identified by the applicant during a work session, they may start a shift after 8 p.m. So, I mean, can you say what the sort of, why 8 to 6 and how can we be flexible without being arbitrary?
Sure. So it was sort of to limit that nighttime activity at the house. I did work with the applicant on those times, and that's what we felt would be give the neighbors the most break in between there while not impacting the operation of the daycare. But you'd be certain, if you foresee that not being workable, you could certainly, I'm sure we could certainly adjust that and make it more flexible.
Yeah, I have a hard time with somebody working 7 to 11, not being allowed to pick their child up until the next morning. It's like,
Especially
And the pickup is gonna be 5 minutes. I mean, it's not a long period of time they're gonna be parked there.
But also, if there's an emphasis on medical personnel, there's famously the
how's it
Very
different than basically, it's the same as having a pizza delivered.
difficult.
You're going to get,
shift
you're
times.
going to
there.
get your child, yeah.
Yeah, the shift times could be might not fit. But you've consulted with the applicant, and they must have some sense of their demand.
Just looking at that court, when everybody's home from work, there aren't any parking places. Everybody's parked in the parking lots and around the edges as well. So
Yeah, there's no street parking, is what you're saying.
there is street parking.
There is? Okay.
I mean, where it comes into play, on the other side, of course, of this is, as sort of mentioned earlier, this is why, like, those designated parking spots matter, because anybody's headlights shining into the neighboring house is much more problematic than somebody pulling into the driveway where all of the light is directional. But that would be a level way beyond unless we conditioned that the designated spot be in the driveway, and we could do that, and then there would basically have to be.
And if two people show up at the same time. That used to happen to me if I babysitter all the time.
I know. I mean, this is
No perfect, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to be, in some ways, I would like the condition to match conditions.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, that's mine.
Mr. Chairman?
Yeah.
If I may, it may behoove the planning commission to open the public hearing this time to hear if there are any of the neighbors present and if they have concerns, and those may inform the deliberations of the commission.
Yes.
Everybody else good with that?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Liz. Okay. So at this time, as I mentioned earlier, the public hearing, we will open the public hearing on this case. Citizens may speak in reference to the item for time usually limited to 3 minutes. And this is a hearing, not a debate, just for notice. So with that, I will open the public hearing. Is there anyone here who wishes to speak on this case?
Am I allowed to speak for myself?
Absolutely.
Okay. Do I still come up?
Yes, please.
Okay.
And if you just state your name and address for the...
I am Caitlin Altizer, and this is the property at 1660 Nicely Court that I am attempting to get the permit for. You had mentioned about licensing. I do have to have licensing come out. They have already been out once, because I am currently accepting subsidy clients, which is where the Department of Social Services pays for children to attend. I am unlicensed and voluntarily registered at this point, which means I may have 4 children at one time. I have one vehicle that is in my driveway when I am home. I have other parking areas that I can park my vehicle to where my driveway is always accessible. I also have checked with licensing as far as the incline in my backyard, and they called someone else. I do not know who, I apologize, but to check to make sure that the incline was not an issue, and it is not. But I also, as soon as the weather breaks, plan on putting a interior fence, if you will, where my concrete area stops across the backyard so that no littles can go down the hill, even though it is gated at the bottom or, fenced. I think that's it in my defense.
Did I answer a question?
Yeah, I mean, we're in the public hearing, but yes, this would be,
Would the hours that staff has presented to you as part of the conditional use permit, would those be restrictive for the clientele you're looking to serve?
So the phone calls that I am currently getting from people is a lot of people in the medical field, but they're like, one lady works at Autumn Care in Madison. So she has 2 children. So her hours are 7 p.m. to 7 a.m.
Okay.
So, and that is, I have another lady that works somewhere here in Culpeper that she works a 16-hour shift and then 2 12s. Her hours are 3 p.m. on a Saturday till 7 a.m. the following morning on Sunday. And then she does it again Sunday night into Monday and then one night during the week. But it would never be after 7 unless her hours were to change at that point.
Thank you. So you're saying the hours they proposed are not restricted?
Theoretically, I think I want to be a 24-hour center to be able to serve people who do work overnight shifts, but because I have to have some normalcy inside the home in the center, I don't want to accept clients that may have to be at work at midnight or may get off at 4 a.m. because that uproots the entire area. But if I can serve families who work 7 to 7 or 6 to 6, then that is what I would like to accommodate.
I would like you to sleep as well.
Just a little bit. I'm up and down all night, which is why the 24-hour kind of works for me. But in a sense, yes, I need to be a productive human.
Thank you.
What were the hours of the first lady with the 2 children that you said?
She works 7 p.m. to 7 a.m.
7, okay.
Yes.
Gotcha.
So she would have to drop off about
Right.
6:30 and pick up about 7:30.
Got you. Thank you.
got, yeah.
Could you say a little bit more about what you have in mind for the backyard?
And I apologize, I did
No,
kind
you're
of
doing great.
do that quick.
That's fine.
Actually, I think he showed it. Can you go to the other one where you have the sketch? I think the one just before this. Yeah.
Okay, so can I don't want to use the pointer, so can I just use my fingers? This area right here is the steep portion.
Right.
And what I want to do, this is concrete through here, where I have it said play area.
Right.
I want to get I guess they're wooden stakes, drill them, into the ground and put lattice up. Because I also still have to be able to mow and keep it calm. I just don't want children to be able, where the concrete ends, I will go through, put a post here,
Right.
put a post here, put a post here, put a post here, and then come back with lattice and secure it.
So there's a fence, sort of right up at the concrete
Correct.
apron, so the little ones don't tumble
Correct.
down the incline.
Yes.
How tall is that lattice?
At minimum, it has to be 4 feet.
Okay.
So that is what I will have it as, so that I can still remove one piece when it's time to mow.
You have a gate down at the bottom?
Yes, ma'am, and it will be locked. The gate up top, obviously, I cannot keep it locked because that's the entrance point for the daycare. And I do have a wooden handrail going all the way down the concrete steps and around to,
So that's where they pick up and drop off their children, is at that back gate?
yes, ma'am, unless it is raining, and I have given the option that I can meet in the garage
Okay.
and take them through the steps that go down to the basement,
Okay.
which is part of my exit plan anyways for emergencies.
Go ahead.
What age range of children?
So when I am fully licensed, I can have 0 to 13, I believe it is. More realistically, you're probably looking at 11 being the max and 3 months being the minimum.
Do you feel that any children really of any age are going to be able to play in that inclined area?
Not in the inclined area, no, sir.
Yeah.
That is the side of the house that
Yeah.
where it says dedicated on there.
Yeah, yeah.
That would be, and then the concrete pad that I have out there.
Yeah.
I do have to have like the gym mats, I think is what they're called.
No, but
Yeah.
when I was looking at it, it seemed like I was trying to envision how you know how kids, even the older kids, would use that area.
They could,
Yeah.
but my 7-year-old son, he rolls down the hill all the time. He makes it fun, he makes it playful. But my thought is, that's my child.
Yeah.
I deal with those consequences, not your child. So
Okay.
my goal is safety for them, which is why the secondary fence would be put up.
For the little ones, yeah.
All right, yeah, Ms. Smith.
So this 10,000 square feet area, that's not, if she's not utilizing all that area, I'm asking him, sorry,
It's okay.
is that,
So the 10,000 square feet is just for the entire lot. The dedicated play area, we only require 75 square feet per child,
okay, thank you.
which she easily meets in the backyard.
Actually, the 10,000 square feet also includes a house,
Yes.
the land that the house is on.
Yep.
Is that 75 square feet per child outside or all inside and outside
Outside.
together?
Yeah. So I just want to be clear, sort of what we're doing here.
Of course.
And we appreciate all of your response and all of your answers to all of our questions, and also just that that our role in all of this is to determine the feasibility of the property. Right? I mean, like, will the parking work? Right? Will this affect the neighbors? Right? This is our role. And it is, and nothing we say is an indictment of your business. Of course. All right.
Of course. And I have spoken to a lot of my neighbors because I was questioned about some of the letters that came out. To my face, I was told that they are in favor of it. I also checked with my licensing lady through the state. I have a safe house at the top of my court in case there's a fire, flood, some kind of standoff outside that I need to get the children away from, to see if there was a permit needed for that house or any type of licensing. And I was told no, because the instance that it might need to be used is so rare that it's literally just for emergency only.
Can I ask you, just for clarity, were there letters that went out? I mean,
Yes,
okay, so
just about the public hearing tonight.
The town
of
notified.
those letters, not like, okay, not
no,
some
no,
sort of opposition letter that we're not aware of.
No,
Okay.
but I have a lot of Trinidadian neighbors and Hispanic neighbors, so I was questioned as to if they needed to come on my behalf, and I said, that's completely up to you guys, but it's about me opening the daycare full-fledged,
Okay.
not just with the 4.
Okay, all right, thank you. Any other questions for the applicant? Thank you again.
Thank you guys.
All right, so again, we're still in the public hearing. If there's anyone here who wishes to speak on this case, please come to the podium now. All right, seeing no one, we will close the public hearing. Any other discussion, or I'll entertain a motion?
Okay. Is there any, do any of you have a sense of why there's a different requirement for square feet there's such a big gap between the amount of space required per child versus the total area required?
Well, so you're talking about two completely different code sections. The 75 feet of recreational space per child would probably be a state reg that relies on basically being able to run the state here. The 10,000 square foot lot, in a lot of ways, is made more sense before the UDO when 10,000 square foot was the minimum lot size in the R1.
Okay. Because first, I completely endorse everything you said. The discussion here is to make sure we understand the envelope of safety and security, convenience, welfare, and not in any way. I think we're all pro enterprise and pro.
Now, also, am I not
But-
mistaken
but-
that, I'm sorry,
I'm just.
were you through?
No, I just.
I'm sorry.
I was apprehensive, and you may have addressed my apprehension. I'll finish quickly. That the implicit in the requirement for that big space was an ample outdoor, really comfortable outdoor space. But the point you've made somewhat allays that concern that it was perhaps just an artifact of the old ordinance with plot minima were prescribed. Thank you.
Also, I think that 10,000 square feet can be modified if you have adjacent park area, other area, and they do. That's what that back gate is, isn't it?
That's not the 10,000 square feet. That's
No, I
the
understand.
play area aspect.
Oh, but John has a point. If within 1,000 feet
Well, the
there is a
10,000
public
physical
park, then that can count as part of your space.
For the play area, not for the
Oh.
lot size.
Oh, okay.
Right.
And
all right, so let me and for clarity, would the 10,000 minimum square foot for the lot size? Would staff also? How does staff feel about that being classified by me as a remnant of earlier residential zoning requirements?
I don't know that it's a remnant in that the minimum lot size here is still 10,000 square feet. So this is a non-conforming lot. So this is an additional activity on a non-conforming lot, which is why it requires that additional oversight by the planning commission and town council.
well, the situation would be if they had a ranch house instead of a two-story house, it would take more of that 10,000 square feet up and not available to.
Well, the lot would still be the same size.
Right.
The lot would be the same
Yeah.
size, but the usable lot wouldn't be.
Right. So
And again, the code doesn't define usability of
No, I
that space.
understand.
And so essentially you could have a 10,000 square foot lot that had less usable space
right.
in terms of the slopes in the backyard or in that area.
So are all of these properties in that neighborhood then under 10,000 square feet?
I believe the vast majority of
It's
them
a
are.
relatively big lot. for
Is
the
that
street.
R2 then, and not R1?
Well, it's not anything anymore.
I believe it's RS, I believe.
RS, okay.
RS.
Geometrically, it's at the end of a curving
Right.
cul-de-sac, so we could see that the front end would be narrower on that around the circle than it would be along the length, and that could account for the difference.
Well, again, to be clear, that this use would not increase the nonconformity of the lot. The nonconformity is strictly related to that lot size.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
But one thing is, if we're going to sort of brush aside the lot requirement, we should have an explicit reason or finding for doing so, lest we set precedent that basically, makes that require, or unless we realize in this context that ordinance is unnecessarily constraining and it should be modified to 8,000 feet or some other dimension.
But I think that's a state requirement, 10,000, isn't it?
If it's a state requirement, do we have authority?
The 10,000, I believe, is a town requirement.
Town, okay.
Essentially, it's a conforming lot is what it's attempting to identify.
But unless we either conflict with the ordinance or are willing to revise the ordinance, we ought to have an explicit finding that justifies the exception. I mean, if that makes sense, that's what it seems like.
Well, I mean, this is a question for staff. I mean, I also have, this case has brought to light, that we probably do need some fixes in the UDO. But I don't know, I think we probably should amend daycare to childcare, or, we need to define daycare as not having to happen during the day when the sun is out, right? But because this is because of this unique nature of I mean, we were all confused at the work session about it being 24-hour operation. I also wonder if we need to look at defining employee in the UDO. But again, but the purposes of what we're here now, I think we'll push all of this to a later work session. But yes, I'm with you. I agree with you that it does raise questions about the UDO itself. Yeah. And we adjust. I mean, I think it's part of the process. We adjust.
If we don't adhere to the UDO, then it raises questions about the UDO. If that's our choice here.
Or both can be true.
Yeah.
The UDO requires clarification. It maybe instead of 10,000 square foot, it's that must be designated RS.
I mean, if I may, to me, the 10,000 square foot and properties under it simply require a statement that we have examined this non-conforming lot and found it appropriate for this use.
Okay.
True. Okay.
But still, we can keep it at 10,000. It's just that this is an exception.
Correct,
Yeah.
because it's under the
Conditional.
10,000.
Yeah, that's why we're here. All right. So my only other, I have two other thoughts about conditions. Can we require some sort of foot lighting? How would the property? That the property be lit? We mentioned like that this from parking area to the door be free of ice and snow, but there's nothing that says it has to be well lit.
It's within the prerogative of the planning commission to set conditions.
Might be a state requirement.
All right.
That might fall on the
All right.
licensing by the state.
I mean, especially if we're going to a side door.
Which I didn't realize until,
Yeah, that there would just be some sort of, foot lighting kind of,
Yeah.
right? That wouldn't necessarily be a nuisance to the neighbors, but would provide light for people coming to and from their car after dark. And then I had some concerns about trash. I mean, the only thing that seems to me to be like an excessive use absent any neighbors here to tell us otherwise. The reality is that there will be more trash generated from this property than would be generated from a single family home. And so I'm trying to figure, I guess that can we condition that all trash must be kept in proper receptacles? I mean,
There's already a requirement that trash receptacles be screened when not out for pickup.
right?
So essentially that's already required of them. Essentially it would be on them if to contract with the town if they found that the existing trash receptacle did not have enough capacity and they needed a second one.
Yeah.
Jim, about 4 or 5, maybe 6 years ago, when you were on board last time, we approved one daycare center that's 2 blocks from my house. Needless to say, I drive by there to check it all the time. I don't see any problem with people dropping people off. I don't see any excessive garbage. It just looks like another neighborhood house. I don't see a problem if they maintain it properly. It just looks like just another house.
And again, the town does have ordinances for trash, and so if it does become a problem, there are other items outside of this conditional use permit that could be used to remedy the situation if it did become an issue.
Or we can cancel the conditional use.
It would depend on whether or not there was a violation of a condition related to the conditional use.
Understand. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
I think your point about the lighting is very good. Are those different levels down to?
It appears that it's terraced.
Right.
Staff can certainly look to see what the state code requirements are related to lighting, and if there's not one, look to craft an additional condition if the planning commission so chooses.
That's important. Good point.
Right. Yep.
I know we're in commissioners' discussion, may I direct a question to the department? Supplementary question.
This is for staff, yes.
Louis, you said that the 75 foot per child requirement is fulfilled by the concrete area that's contemplated to be fenced in, if I understood you right.
It
And what
measuring it out
1660 is
roughly
yeah.
where the designated play area is there
Okay,
would
right. So that's ample.
enough,
Yeah, as
yeah.
you say, that's ample.
1660 is the address.
Oh, what is the area? Oh,
it
that-
would need roughly
Nine-
somewhere around 1,000.
It's 10
yeah.
feet deep. That concrete pad, I think, was 10 feet deep.
So the requirement would be for 900 square feet for 12 children, so 1,000 would be adequate. Yeah, okay, thank you.
And again, the ordinance doesn't necessarily say not in steep slopes or anything like that. So if this didn't require a conditional use permit, even with if it was all that slope, that.
If it passed muster with the licensing people.
Yeah. And I also would like to clarify one quick thing. The zoning of the property is RT. Sorry about any confusion, not RS.
Ms. Altucher, do you have something else you want to share?
I
If
would
you could
like
come down the microphone, yeah.
Again, my name is Caitlin. I am applying for the conditional use permit. On the property, there is a front porch light. There are floodlights on both sides of the house that are motion activated that have since been put up while doing all of this. There is a motion light at the back door along with a flip switch light. Upstairs on the back side of the house, there is also a back porch light. And there is a street light between my house and my neighbor that is on 24 hours a day. To clarify that, I also already have 2 trash receptacles that I rarely use the second one on, so I already have that in place as well.
Yeah, thank you.
I
That's,
apologize,
No,
but
you're-
I didn't think to say that when I was up
Yeah.
here the first time, and then the lighting.
And before you go, now that from what we're looking at from the rear of the house here, on the right-hand side, that's all fenced as well,
Yes, ma'am.
all the way up to the front.
Yes, ma'am. Both neighbors have fences. So the property that I rent, which we've already established everything, everybody's on the same page with that. They already had fences. I was the only property without one. So when I decided this, the back fence went up and then the 2 side fences went up.
Okay.
So I did not have to worry about joining the properties because those were already standing.
That's fine. Thank you.
and then one more question right here. So just for clarity, that time restriction between 8 p.m. and 6 a.m. is something that you and staff agreed on together?
Well, theoretically, right now, it's myself and my daughter. That's the only staff I have.
Right.
I have a lady up the street that is willing to help me should the need arise. But I do not see it happening because the ratio is stricter when there are infants. And so far, I have had no one reach out to me with infants. So I will set those hours based on the need of the phone calls that I'm currently getting.
All right, so I just want to make sure, right, we're conditioning the property, right?
Yes.
So we're trying to make a determination of when is it appropriate for the traffic to come to and from the house, right? So, what I'm trying to just get a sense from you is that in your conversations with staff, you said, yes, please restrict me after 8 p.m. and yes, please restrict me before 6 a.m.
Correct. And I think I can make that work. Yes, sir.
Okay, all right, thank you.
One last question.
Sure.
Is the streetlight located between you and 1664, or is it on the other side by the driveway?
It's on the same side as my driveway.
Okay.
Sorry, I don't know the adjacent numbers,
All right, okay.
which way they go. But yeah, that light, I promise you, it's on 21 hours a day. It's, I don't think I've ever seen it off since I've been in the house for 2 years.
The town can fix that.
I like it on. I do like it on, especially when summer nights are out there and the kids are all in the court playing.
Well, I'm just
Talking about
saying,
neighborhood kids.
I'm just saying the town is paying the utility for it to be on.
That part we can discuss.
All right. Are there any other questions for
Thank
the
you.
applicant or for staff? I'll entertain a motion.
I move that we send conditional use permit CUP 6187-2025 to town council with a recommendation of approval with the restrictions outlined by staff.
Second.
All right, so now we're in discussion. I would just, for discussion, consider the inclusion of my required lighting as a conditional. I mean, so she says there's floodlights now, but this would basically make where she couldn't take them down, or that they would always be operational. That they were
Okay, so an item 4.
Yeah, and item 4 that just says, that there's adequate parking. I mean, there's adequate lighting between the designated drop-off area and the door used for the entrance to the daycare.
Okay. You got that, Louis?
Now we're still in discussion.
We don't have to include anything in there that say that for weekends also. This is anytime,
Yeah, I think this would be anytime.
right?
Do I need
Just wanted to make
amend the
sure.
motion?
What's that?
Do I need to
Well,
amend the motion?
we're in discussion now, so.
Okay.
Do we want to amend the motion just to say something that, having considered the disparity of, or the space, disparity vis-a-vis the space requirement, we find it to be not material, or something like that?
Well, I think part of the whole process, that it's inherent in the process that we're here because it doesn't meet that requirement. So, yeah, John, if you want to amend the.
But the fact that we're brushing aside that constraint, do we want to have a finding associated with that, or is it implied in the fact that we approve it?
Yeah, we're not brushing it aside because the next person would still have to come here and get their own CUP.
But if they have the exact same square footage, should we say in that case, no, and then they have some basis for, they could have some basis for complaining specials on it.
I think, well, this is all big pieces of a pie. So the other house, the next house could have 10 neighbors who were in opposition. The next house could have all kinds of other other things. Every property is different. And through the conditional use permit, we're looking at the individual property. That would be my.
But we're brushing aside a requirement of the ordinance, and I'm good with it, but do we want to say, that we're doing this deliberately, or that it's not something like, equivalent to a finding that makes it.
We're not brushing it aside because we're here. If it was if they were 10,001 feet, we wouldn't be here. There would have been an administrative approval. So we are acknowledging that it is does not meet the space requirement because we are here having the conditional hearing. John, do you want to amend the original motion?
So it just amended by adding 4. Louis has it written down.
Right,
Item 4.
I would like to
Lots of light.
amend my motion to add item 4 requiring adequate lighting.
Second.
Okay. All right. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? All right. Great. Next item. Thank you. Okay. Now we're on to the next item, public hearing, rezoning, REZ-6265-2026. Staff will introduce an application by Zuzman Properties LLC to rezone their 21.6625 acre unaddressed property off Zuzman Drive from RR, rural residential, to C, commercial, tax map 51D in the West Fairfax Magisterial District.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll keep this fairly brief as the Planning Commission has previously considered this. As a reminder, this request came in during the UDO adoption process for a change in the zoning. Originally, the request was to annex the neighborhood commercial mix. After deliberations with the Planning Commission, it was felt more appropriate for this parcel to be designated as C commercial in alignment with some of the other properties in the vicinity. This was discussed in the latter part of last year and was submitted as a recommendation to Town Council for adoption of this parcel with a designation of commercial within the UDO. Unfortunately, due to the timing of when the change came in, it was not able to be incorporated there as it would have required a separate public hearing. And so staff did commit to bringing this back before the Planning Commission at the next available time that the public hearing was scheduled. So as can be seen, the future land use map for this area calls for this to be general commercial or mixed use. The existing zoning is the rural residential, and the request is for commercial zoning. At this time, I'd recommend potentially that we open the public hearing and hear from any citizens interested, and staff would be happy to answer any questions that may arise.
Okay, well, let's just for, sake of pattern, are there any questions for staff before I open the public hearing? Acknowledging that this is a property we looked at for, many times before the UD, last year. All right. No additional questions for staff at this time, then we can open the public hearing. So I will open the public hearing. Again, as I mentioned earlier, this is a hearing, not a debate, and speakers are limited to a time, usually 3 minutes. The public hearing is open. Please step to the podium and state your name and address for the record.
Good evening, my name is Cindy Thornhill. I'm at 710 Zeuswin Drive, and I rode by the sign for rezoning of this property and was a little surprised that the rezoning request is for commercial designation, and there is no documentation that comes with this request. It's just a letter. And the UDO process, I think the staff was very generous with lots of people. If you said, I don't want my property to be X, I want it to be Y. And to me, a commercial rezoning at the entrance corridor to Culpeper and the beautiful scenery that we have at that entrance corridor, to allow it to go into a commercial designation is wrong. I've been on the County Planning Commission for the last 8 years. I've never seen a rezoning, this is technically a rezoning, per the sign right there in my drive area, without engineering plans, especially it's a commercial request, without any kind of survey information for the ingress and egress design that could possibly occur there. Yes, I know the next user will have to provide some of this, but I feel as though a commercial zoning needs more than just a blanket blessing. There's no traffic impact analysis information tied to this. There's no stormwater management, sediment control, DEQ, other agency review by VDOT, screening and lighting plans, water and sewer upgrades. I believe that you're going to have some kind of water and sewer upgrade to service this property if you call this commercial for this particular landowner. Who will pay for that? Us taxpayers? Unknown. Just a very general situation. I really find that to be irresponsible, so to speak. I think that there's no siting agreement. There's no proffer list, if you want to call it, whichever one you call it. In the county comprehensive plan, our parcels for future land use do not necessarily match the zoning that is on that particular parcel. And this applicant in his letter wanted to match up what the future land use was or the actual plan to what his property should be, in his opinion. Okay, I mean, it was a personal request. And I think that you're giving a blanket blessing to finding a user who will then have free reign to abide by the UDO, yes, but they're going to have free reign as to what's going to happen there. This is the most expensive property for sale in Culpeper today. And we're giving away a rezoning that takes away any control or benefits to the town taxpayers. And I would respectfully request that you defer this to another public hearing where more people can find out about it, because I did not know in advance until I saw the sign on the driveway a week ago.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else here? Please come to the podium.
Excuse me. My name's Rebecca Sittner. I'm a resident at 730 Zeuswin. I think first I would say there may have been a problem with notice, but neither my husband nor I, we've been residents here for 5 years, received anything in the mail about this. The first we learned was at the public sign. And in fact, I don't know if any of my neighbors have received notice in the mail. So that obviously we were here. Somebody took a picture of the sign and circulated it, so we all showed up, but there was no time to really think about this or consider it really from our end. I would say, given the short amount of time I had to contemplate what was happening, I did take some time to look into the town planning documents. And I guess I'm a little concerned that this blanket rezoning seems not to be in line with the 2018 town plan, nor does it seem to be in line with the 2024 Culpeper 2030 plan. Specifically that latter plan, if I understand it correctly, and this is not my day job, this is obviously your area of expertise, but it seemed as though it anticipated something called a planned unit development, or a PUD for this area. And I imagine it sought a PUD, given the fact that this area is almost entirely within the watershed district. It has, for years, been agricultural. It's fronted by pretty rural residential properties and a golf course. And going from agricultural to RR, which was just rezoned 4 months ago under the UDO, to commercial, which seems to be the most permissive zoning available without any sort of, as my neighbor thoughtfully spoke, what's the plan for traffic? Do we know, has anybody thought about what this is going to do to the Culpeper watershed area? Noise pollution, light pollution. It's a private residential road that was only made for 8 houses at the moment. Is there VDOT access off of 29 for this, or are they going to have access off of our private residential road? I mean, has any thought been put into this, other than the gentleman? I understand he would like to rezone, but obviously there's a significant impact for the city and for the neighborhood. And this is, I mean, really the first that any of us are hearing about it. So I guess I would say maybe now seems a little bit soon to jump straight from RR to C without going through that sort of thoughtful process that I think the Culpeper 2030 plan contemplates going through.
Thank you for your comments. Is there anyone else here who wishes to speak? Again, state your name and.
Yes,
Yeah.
Todd Brown, 720 Zeusman Drive. Plain and simply, the real only access to this property is presently our driveway. And that's what it is. It's a driveway. And before making a decision, I would hope that you would drive down that area and see how you would access that property. You'd have to go through Zeusman, certainly at this time, unless you had an exit somewhere off of 29 where the exit is now, and that would be almost impossible, I believe. But on top of that, the 13th hole of the golf course runs right by that road, okay? I've got some nice cars. I stop when they're teeing off. Why? Because they could easily shank a ball right into your windshield. Easily. This is not hyperbole here. Hole 12 may not be affected by this, but 13 would be in a big way. And I don't think you want a hurricane fence 30 or 40 feet tall to keep balls from hitting windshields as they come in. Okay, this is our driveway. It's a right-of-way. It'd be really hard to think of this as a thoroughfare to a pro-business development. And believe me, I'm retired as a businessman from Culpeper for 40 years. And I, frankly, am pro-growth. But in this case, it's not the right place at all for commercial development. Not at all. Please visit the area.
Thank you. Is there anyone else here who would like to speak?
I will.
Okay.
My name's Maria Schreffler. I live at 706 Zeuswin. I don't have any prepared comments, but I am very taken aback about the suddenness of how this, what appears to us in the neighborhood of this rezoning action. Again, if one of our neighbors hadn't seen that sign, which was put up after the snowmageddon or whatever we had, and was partially, snow, you couldn't even get close enough to it without putting your life in danger for slipping on the ice to see the sign. That's when we talk about notification, that's kind of not what I would think notification of a zoning meeting would be. Okay. Secondly, we just moved in last year, and I don't know if any of you have visited the area down there and driven down Zeuswin, like my neighbor, Mr. Brown, has said. That is our driveway. It's very difficult for two cars to go. One car coming in, we're all great neighbors, so we all kind of move over for each other. But to have a regular traffic going down that street is just, I don't even see how that's feasible at this point. But third of all, it's rural, it's residential, it's quiet. We just moved here from quote unquote Northern Virginia. We moved here from Prince William to get away from all the buildings and everything, the overbuilding, everything being turned commercial. We wanted to get back into a smaller town, into a rural area. We have deer wandering through the neighborhood. We have foxes. We had a bear. We had a bear this year. And it's very pleasant. It's very rural. It's quiet. And it's what my partner and I, moved to this area from, to get away from commercial building on every possible lot available, and right up against housing. So I appreciate the opportunity to speak. I wish and I hope that there will be more time and more consideration to go through a lot of the things that my other neighbor, Rebecca, brought up. Different studies. It just is not a place for commercial development. And if you've gone back there, come back and visit me. I'll walk you through and show you, just how beautiful it is and what it would be disrupting. And not just the farmland, but again, there's wildlife back there. There's the golf course. I don't know how the commercial development could be in the same place as that golf course right now. So again, you can tell I didn't prepare any comments. I'm just kind of rambling, but I appreciate the opportunity to speak.
Thank you. Is there anyone else here?
Hey there, Mark McNulty, also at 730 Zeuswin. It's my first rodeo, so I'm not sure. Are we allowed to ask you guys any questions, or is it just?
This is just a public hearing.
Okay.
So we're getting information from you.
Okay. Well, in that case, I just second everything else that my neighbors have said. Thank you guys for your time.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Julie McCoy. I'm at 770 Zeuswin, and I also don't have any prepared statements. I didn't realize that this was a decision-making process tonight, so that was a surprise when my neighbors let me know that. I just wanted to echo Todd's comments. It's actually pretty funny about the golf balls, because I feel safer on the course than I do walking on Zeuswin, because I expect balls to be flying by me on the golf course. But I have walked along this stretch of our driveway, and I have had balls go flying past me. Something would certainly need to be done about that, but I would just request that more thought goes into this before a decision is made, because it doesn't feel like, from my standpoint, I know next to nothing about this. It just doesn't feel like due diligence has been done. Thank you.
Is there anyone else who would like to comment? Please state your name and address.
Hello again. My name is Al Caldwell. I live on Birmingham Road. My family owns this property, my wife and daughters. And I don't have a lot to add since I spoke to you last September a couple of times. during the UDO adoption process. So I'll just reiterate some of what I said then. I do want to address a couple of the concerns that our neighbors spoke of. First off, water and sewer runs through the property already. There's a major water line running there, so that could be tapped into. As far as Zeuswind Drive, that will naturally have to be upgraded. It doesn't meet your specifications for commercial, so I want to point that out. The notification signs for this public hearing, put them up as instructed, and it's all I can do about that. And I understand that it's a pleasant drive going through there. I understand that concern from our neighbors, but this property is located at the intersection, a major intersection. And to expect us to keep it open and have a pleasant drive for everyone forever, I think, is unreasonable. And it's designated in the future land use plan as mixed-use commercial in the comprehensive plan. I'm concerned that designating the property as RR is encouraging large lot development at that intersection. When the property is better designated as commercial, is not a wise use of the property for the town in the future. During the UDO process, the town changed the zoning of many properties to encourage infill redevelopment on older existing properties in town, and encouraging large lot right now with an RR zoning would just create the same scenario years down the road. I want to point out that a stated goal of the Unified Development Ordinance that was adopted is that the UDO was intended to be consistent with the town's comprehensive plan. And the vision and goal for this parcel is commercial mixed-use development, which is the reason that's originally what I requested, was that the new UDO zoning would match the comprehensive plan, which was a stated goal. But at your request, my request was changed to commercial. And lastly, I'll point out that there were numerous properties, I think there were 69 properties that were changed from residential zoning to NX during the UDO process, and Irish was left out. It was seems like it was singled out to remain RR. So I just would like you to consider those points, and I thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else here who would like to speak during the public hearing? Oh, we all. Yeah. Oh, is there some? Do you have some item for clarification?
I had a question if I'm allowed to ask a
Oh,
question.
no, yes, so this is just a public hearing. This is where the commission gathers information from the public. It's not a debate or, right, okay. So seeing no other requests to be heard, then we'll close the public hearing. And I'll open this up I'll entertain a motion, or we can have, discussion without a motion. However the board feels comfortable.
Let's have a discussion without a motion.
All right.
Agreed.
So what would you like to say?
I'd like to know where Zeusland is. Can you help me? I see Madison Ave. Okay. I see,
See that right there?
yeah, give me a cross street. I see Madison Avenue, I see Zeusland.
Okay.
Where's,
This right here is that wayside area where the park is.
No, sir.
What's that?
No, sir.
Further back.
It is not.
It'd be further down.
Where are we here?
What's directly?
do you have?
This is Madison Road.
Okay. Oh, okay, wait a minute, Andrew's gonna show us.
Right there is the little park.
Is it Laurel?
It's the exit off 29, right?
This is Zeusman Drive right here.
That's
Yeah,
this.
I understand. How do I get to it?
Kestner Wayside is right here.
Right, that's exactly where I was pointing.
This
Yeah.
this is the interchange with 29 right here.
Okay, Madison Road. Okay, all right, down near Laurel.
If you were to
Yes,
go,
I think it goes directly across Laurel almost. But
Almost across Laurel. Okay, gotcha.
yes, right across the street. This
Take a ride down there.
This right here is our drive. Okay? That pros there is the 13th hole. The entire 13th
Gotcha.
hole goes directly parallel with that. And this is the area we're talking about right here.
Okay, I might take a drive down there, don't
All right.
shoot me.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Okay, sorry. All right.
Can we hold off on making a decision on
I
this?
want to say just for one, I'll start the discussion.
Okay,
Two points. We looked at a lot of properties during the UDO process, and we looked at them individually. This was one of them.
yes,
We held public hearings, right? This went to council with a public hearing. Council conditioned their approval, basically, or requested that staff bring this back at its earliest convenience as part of the council discussion. There was discussion when the UDO was approved that this needed to be revisited, and there was even discussion among council members that they wanted to affix like a 12-month time frame that it had to be done. So I just want to be clear that this is not the first time we're looking at this piece of
no, I understand that.
Yeah. So
I haven't driven by yet to see it. All I've seen it is a map like this, and from a map like this, what we're doing makes sense. But it may not if I look at the land and the property and everything. That's all I'm thinking.
okay.
So, the department can speak to notification. I don't know the notification timeline, but as you say, it's been contemplated as part of the UDO, the zoning review, land use review. Was meticulous, and a lot of our discussion of this land had to do with its intended future use. It is in the old comprehensive or the outgoing comprehensive plan. It is designated commercial mixed use. So it's not that. So it already has that designation, and it may be used for some commercial use right now by right. Irrespective of what we decide to do, unless we rezone it to residential, which would be complicated to say the least. The applicant is correct that the applicant did not ask for a designation to commercial. We had reviewed, we noticed that the sector up to the northeast there had already been zoned commercial. And given that we're planning for the town property as a whole, and the future development of the town property, which must accommodate some growth, that this is a classic area to concentrate commercial development. It's out on the periphery. It's adjacent to a major highway. And it's for those reasons that we thought that we determined a commercial designation as opposed to mixed commercial would be appropriate, would be in keeping with the contemplated use, with the existing zoning, and with the placement and the prudent development of the town's property. So those are facts that we looked at. We have more facts here, and I'm not saying we should disregard them. We have more points of view, more opinions, but I, like you,
Mr. Chairman, feel there is nothing special about this property. It's gone through the exact same process that the rest of the town properties have gone through. There's nothing sudden about this. And as to, again, the notification, I can't speak to that. It's not nice to feel like you've been caught by surprise. But this has been a matter under discussion in one form or another for an extended period of time now. Thanks for your patience with my long remark there.
Anyone else have anything for discussion?
Well, I would just say, part of our decision for the commercial designation our recommendation is all the lots across adjacent to Madison Road are commercial already. It just seemed logical to tie that little piece in next to the interchange. The applicant also mentioned to us that even though the lots would need to be rearranged and there would be some serious work, the site already has some challenges that need to be overcome already, and that would all be taken care of when either they developed it or someone else developed it. But the product as is shown right now is, according to the applicant, unworkable for the commercial properties.
Any other comments?
Although what I would like to do, one of the reasons for the public hearing is to get information from neighbors and everything. What I like to do is go down and visit the area and see what it looks like and see if I agree with them, or not. I guess what I'm saying is I like to postpone a decision.
Where's everybody else?
I agree.
I agree.
No objection?
I'm sorry.
All right, so then just for...
I don't mind taking it up at our work session next week.
I guess I'm a little confused. Other than a site visit, which I understand, right? I mean, I appreciate that idea. There isn't anything to work through. I mean, do we want to just? I mean, if we're going to set a time in the future to look at this again, then we could just say that we'll do this at our March meeting.
However,
I mean, I don't want anybody, right? I don't want to give the impression that we're moving, to a 9 a.m. on a Thursday process from a 6 p.m.
Sure, no,
right?
okay, yeah, I have no problem.
But we have had, but just for clarity, we have held the public hearing. We're not required to hold any additional public hearings.
I understand that.
Okay. So so then basically what you're proposing is that we do nothing with this at this time, table it until our March meeting.
Okay. Yes.
Okay.
Is that going to cause a problem?
The reason we deferred action on this was to be able to combine it with another public hearing for advertising reasons. So this would put us off kilter with our other public hearing case by deferring action.
At council.
Correct.
Is proposed a second public hearing or just a second round of deliberation?
I don't even think that I don't think this is about deliberation. I mean, John's just asking for time to go.
I like to look at the property. I like to. I hear what everybody's saying, and I would like to look and see if I agree with what they're saying.
And Andrew's making the point that council is advertising a public hearing for the first conditional meeting. Right, for the council meeting, not for ours. And that other meeting has it's the daycare with business implications. I mean,
Well, if we do it at our work session instead of the March meeting, it still comes in line with the town council if we accept it.
I guess.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
So if it's not commercial, then it's going to go to the NX, right? The mixed use.
The underlying zoning is rural residential.
Okay, I thought it was rural estate or something.
That was what it was under the
Before,
prior zoning
yeah.
ordinance. And so essentially the initial proposal was to retain that in the like for like
Right.
manner. As we discussed during the work session, or during the UDO process when the request came in, the request is for a speculative upzoning of the property to align with the comprehensive plan.
Right.
So we don't have the formal plans or the sort of identified desired final product there. Some of the concerns that were raised as far as the road, noise impacts, lighting, all of those would be addressed at the site plan stage. We would be requiring a traffic impact analysis with the site plan to ensure that there was adequate mitigation of the road. It certainly would need to be brought up to current town standards for a public road to serve that property. We do have subjective noise standards that would come into play. The town is also contemplating modifying that at some point in the future. We do have lighting standards that address spillover, and sort of we are going to be addressing the greens as well and looking into that and talking with Town Light and Power about that item, but looking to ensure that a similar situation didn't arise in this situation. Part of the reason when we went through the deliberations that we talked about the commercial zoning as opposed to the neighborhood commercial mix is that the neighborhood commercial mix is the most permissive zoning designation that the town has. So allowing that allowed for a far wider variety of potential end uses on the property. It could have allowed for townhouse development, duplexes, multifamily, solely multifamily. With the commercial zoning, it did provide greater certainty and more limited potential end uses on the property. The multifamily is still permitted, but only on the upper story, so you'd have to have ground floor commercial. Otherwise, you're limited to those commercial developments. And again, as outlined within the comprehensive plan with that mixed-use commercial designation, with the visibility from 29 of this road, it was seen as a benefit and a positive for that potential commercial zoning. And so that was where the commission, it's just to refresh the commission in terms of some of the considerations that went in there. And the one final thing on the notification front, again, by state code, we notified all of the adjacent properties, and this is where I'm considering this a win with the UDO. All of the properties that abut this property were notified by mailing. But I'm considering the changes that came about with the UDO, the win, because of the posting of this property, the neighbors were alerted and became aware of the situation, were able to attend the public hearing tonight to express their opinions to the Planning Commission.
Thank you for that review. I think we needed that, because I know we just talked about this forever, you know. Go ahead.
Mr. Hopewell, when will be the next opportunity for a public hearing on this particular property as we move forward? Would that be at town council?
So it tentatively is slated to go to town council in March at their regular meeting.
All right, for clarity, we wouldn't be approving anything. We would just be making a recommendation to council. We can actually even forward this to council without a recommendation if we weren't comfortable doing that.
I'd kind of like to make a recommendation, but I know I had a lot of time to look at this, drive down there. I didn't. But that's okay. We can do it however.
Chairman, to point it out, what can happen is that if the Planning Commission wishes to make their recommendation after deliberation at the work session, but are committed to making that recommendation, we could advertise for the town council public hearing.
I would go with that.
Could you say that again? I'm sorry.
So essentially, we would advertise for the public hearing before town council. The Planning Commission could still deliberate on their recommendation and make that recommendation at the work session later this month.
At the cost of potentially creating an appearance of what you were
Right,
doing
yeah,
before.
I mean,
yeah.
I'll tell you, the map that I see there still looks good to me, but I'm hearing what everybody's saying, and I'd like to look at it.
Right. Okay. And I mean, just to be clear, that it currently is farm. I mean, it's going to look like a pastoral farm, and so whether that was a commercial property, if something commercial went there, or 25 houses went there, or whatever, right? It still would never look there still won't be cows roaming.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
No, I got deer in my yard. I'm in the middle of town.
Right, right.
Just a
Yeah.
question. Did this come to us as a rezoning application after we had finished the UDO process? Because I know we focused on that. We discussed it in depth. And so it's puzzling that,
This was all part of the process.
yeah, why is this? I'm curious.
This request came in very late in the process after the public hearings had been held, when town council referred it back to the planning commission for certain properties that had made the notice. Because the request was to change the zoning to a more intense zoning designation, it required a new public hearing to be held. And so since there was a desire not to hold the entire UDO up with this request, there was the commitment to handle this one independently at a later date.
The last point I'll make is this is the 2016 comprehensive plan. And this piece of land is designated as mixed commercial use. So the shift from mixed commercial to commercial is new. But the idea that this is not going to be rural, retained as, rural land has been in the works for more than a decade. It's not a new idea. It's not a new intention, just for what it's worth.
That history, thank you.
So,
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Chairman, I think we should take this up. Not change times on the citizenry and take it up in a regular meeting in March.
Not the work session.
Not the work session. I don't think we should change it up and not allow, some letters to come in to see what everybody else thinks. Apparently it appears as a surprise. If we're gonna,
well, we're not going to get a motion to send this to council.
right. Not
Unless
tonight.
somebody wants to make one.
Right.
What is the extent of the inconvenience caused by, you lose some advertising, you have to re-advertise, so there's a dollar cost, right?
Correct.
Is it? Okay.
We could just poll the the panel and see who wants to take it up at the work session versus the regular meeting.
All right. So just so we're clear, first, I am ready to send this to council tonight. Okay. I think we should all, just for transparency, just where are we, right? I think I'm the only one, though, who is ready to do that. Or is there anyone else who's ready to send this to council tonight?
Now that we've had the summary, because just thinking back over the process we went through, because this wasn't, an instantaneous change, do this thing. We talked about this, we talked to the property owner. I think I'm ready for it to go to council. You try to be accommodating and, listen, and I care, I care about the citizens, but.
And I understand your concern. I told
No, I said no. She said yeah.
right.
What about?
So yeah, what are you?
Yeah.
I would be comfortable deciding this at the working group meeting, given that we've had this discussion here. It's on a closed circuit, so we've communicated with the community at large that if they have things to say on this issue, they can write us letters. The folks who have joined us here have another chance. They can write letters. That's allowed, right? Even after we can see the letters. It's not.
They may, and there will still be another public hearing before town council.
Yeah, there will be another public meeting. So I feel that's a reasonable compromise where we are listening. We do take time to go look at this. Those of us who haven't already, go ahead, look at this, weigh up what we see with our eyes, with the words we've heard from our neighbors, and with the discussions, the lengthy discussions that we've had prior to this. That seems reasonable to me.
So, Mr. Flanagan?
Okay.
Do you want, what do you want?
Yeah.
Are you ready? Are you prepared to send this with a recommendation to council today? No.
No, so I will accept making a decision at the work session.
And the work session is date,
Next week.
February 26th at 9 a.m.
I didn't say that for us.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Okay, February 26th, 9 a.m. All right, so basically we'll table this item until February 26th, 9 a.m.
Okay.
Great.
Okay, thank you. All right. Move on. All right, now we're to other business. We're at case VAR-6277-2026. Staff will present a request for a variance made by K&N Heating and Air Conditioning on behalf of the owner, Stephen J. Lane Jr., at tax parcel number 41B-9-59, 336 James Madison Highway, to section 27-2.50.4 of the town's Unified Development Ordinance related to the location, screening, and paving of the refuse area for the placement of a dumpster.
Thank you. As you said, this is a request for a variance to allow the placement of the dumpster outside of the rear yard at 470 James Madison, 336 James Madison Highway. The request also includes variances to the requirement for a concrete pad, a screening wall around the dumpster, and landscaping as required in the UDO. Here you can see pictures of the dumpster in question, one from the James Madison Highway and the other from Fairview Road. It is placed in the existing parking lot asphalt. The UDO requires that dumpsters be placed in the rear yard when visible from the street. An opaque masonry wall is required around the dumpster. The applicant is proposing to keep the dumpster in its existing location. They will provide a 6-foot tall wooden gate and 2 to 4 evergreen trees along James Madison Highway. The Joint Board of Zoning Appeals will be holding a public hearing on the case on Thursday, February 19th. In accordance with state code, we are presenting it to the Planning Commission, which may or may not provide a recommendation or appear at the public hearing. I'd be happy to answer any questions you have for me.
This Thursday is the public, what time?
It is at 6 o'clock.
Here?
It is in the County Board of Supervisor room.
Gotcha.
Anybody have questions for Lewis? I have a statement based on, in my previous time here, I mean, I've served on, obviously, this Town Planning Commission. I've also served on the BZA. And I served on both at the same time. And when I did both at the same time, I just, it was sort of an understanding that, that we had a role to play and the BZA had a role to play. Mm-hmm. What has become clear to me, though, in the last 6 months is that the BZA actually wants our input and is actually taking it into advisement. Before hearing that, I would have assumed that the BZA understood that the Planning Commission Council, that the code is the code, right? So that would sort of be where we are. But so that said, I think it behooves us to make some sort of recommendation to the BZA so that they know where we are instead of having to guess.
Sure.
So
where they want to put the trees and the fence?
The trees will be here right along to try and screen it from James Madison, and then the fence would just be a gate out in the front. So they are
wooden
proposing,
fence, right?
Yes.
Instead of a masonry.
Yes. And they're not proposing any screening on this side. This is Fairview Road up here, where the
Have the
second picture.
there you go, the photograph. Okay, so go through that again, where the gate would be, if you don't
So
mind.
the gate
And the trees.
would be in front here.
Okay.
And then the trees would be where this big pile of snow is right here.
And that's the side that faces the highway.
Yes.
But there would be wood fence all the way around the dumpster.
No, just in the front here.
It's going to take a while for those trees to grow, and I don't know if that's really going to be adequate.
Louis, do you share the concern of the refuse collector that the power lines obstruct the ability of a truck?
I'm not sure about the power lines themselves. I mean, they're higher than any truck I've seen, but I do understand the constraints of the property in terms of the location of the dumpster. With this kind of having two frontages on Fairview and on James Madison, it's kind of hard to define that rear yard. And if it's in this area here, sorry, I kind of cropped the page there. There's really no way to get to that rear yard. So I understand the constraints as far as the location of the dumpster.
Well, why the gate and why not block it from the side, on both sides? It seems kind of strange.
This was the proposal
that they made.
Mm-hmm.
I also don't understand why they're looking for a variance from having to do the concrete pad.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's a reason why you would pad this. Do you, by any chance, I know that maybe it's in the BZA documentation, there are like the 7 points that a property must meet, that the threshold to actually receive to have a variance. Do you have that in your slides?
I don't have it in the slides, but I should.
I had it in my notes, but I can't find it.
Yeah.
Can you just read those?
Sure.
Oh, I see.
Okay. So state code reads that a variance shall be granted if evidence shows that the strict application of the terms of the ordinance would unreasonably restrict the utilization of the property, or that the granting of a variance would alleviate a hardship due to the physical condition relating to the property or improvements thereon at the time of the effective date of the ordinance, or alleviate a hardship by granting a reasonable modification to property or improvements thereon requested by or on behalf of a person with disability, and 1. The property of interest for which a variance is being requested was acquired in good faith and any hardship was not created by the applicant for the variance. 2. The granting of the variance will not be a substantial detriment to adjacent property and nearby properties in the proximity of that geographical area. 3. The condition or situation of the property concerned is not so general or reoccurring in nature as to make it reasonably practical the formulation of a general regulation to be adopted as an amendment to the ordinance. 4. The granting of a variance does not result in a use that is not otherwise permitted on the property or a change in zoning classification of the property. And 5. The relief or remedy sought by the variance application is not available through the special exception process that is authorized in the ordinance.
Right. So I don't know if you all looked at, there are were the pictures, I looked at pictures, then I went to Google Maps where you can see the dated, like the 2018, right? So it is my opinion that based on what Louis just read and those state rules, that this is a hardship created by the applicant. There's nothing unique about the property that says that it's the applicant's use of this property that they've determined requires that container. You could do all kinds of businesses there that wouldn't need that container.
What are those properties alongside?
Those are parking spaces.
Their apartment?
No,
it's
parking space.
Behind it is there's an auto repair shop behind it.
Okay.
That's the Fance Automotive.
They're putting a gate up to block it from parking space? How stupid.
Yeah, right. So, but the other one is, I don't understand why the Planning Commission is having to do the BCA's job. But we've been asked by this process, they want a recommendation from us. And I recognize I'm on TV saying this. Yeah. As a former BZA member, It does not reach the hardship was created by the applicant, and the situation is so general or recurring. You could go up and down that road and find people who don't have a rear yard to put this kind of container in. So we can determine, as part of the UDO, we approve or sent to council to approve proper screening for these containers. And so basically, if you say that it's okay here with the variances that this applicant wants, that basically the next one down, this is back to like are you creating the precedence? Everyone on Madison Highway can now put a container on asphalt, and they can do it without screening.
I don't have a problem with them putting the container on asphalt, but I do have a problem with their suggested screening. I think it should be closed so we can't see it. It doesn't have the gate in the front, so I don't mind looking at it from a parking space, but all the way around, the two sides and the back should be screened.
Mm-hmm.
I think.
Yeah. Yeah, when it should be screened with approved materials.
Right.
Well, to me, wood is okay. I've seen plenty of containers screened with wood. I know we say masonry, but a wood fence, a large wood fence that would screen it, or shrubs or something like that. It'd take a while for the shrubs to grow, but they will grow.
Mr. Pancotti, so this comes to the BZA because it was pegged as a violation?
Yes, it started as a change of use from, I believe it was a gym, to going to a to the heating and cooling business. So, and they had put the dumpster out there that had, to your point, it was there maybe many years ago, but definitely not in the past 2 years. So even if it was there legally, lost its non-conforming status, but was put in that area, and a violation notice was sent.
Yeah, according to the dumpster operator, it's in the only place that they can safely service it. And I can see that, because you don't want to back those big trucks around with someone trying to pull into your parking lot at the same time.
I don't have the problem with the position of it or where it is. It's just the screening, I think.
Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, because they have no. I mean, I can understand that.
Yeah, looks like crap. I mean.
Yeah, exactly.
I know I'm on television. I shouldn't say that, but it doesn't look good.
Why would you object to putting a screening all the way around it?
They don't want to have to pay for it.
Well, I don't see a screen in front where they're putting a gate. Put screen all the way on the three sides.
That's what
the gate in the. They can have it open in the parking lot. Who cares?
No, it's going to be closed.
Does it? Why?
An ordinance.
Oh, okay.
Right. Well, think about like the behind
Okay,
movie.
I don't have a problem.
There are examples of this all over. That's why.
In other words, they need to put it on the side and the back. If they do that, I don't have a problem with it. They need to screen the whole thing.
I mean, okay. Any other comment? Back to that concrete pad. So you're okay with them not having to do the pad?
I've seen a lot on asphalt
Right.
in town. I don't see a problem with it. Asphalt is okay. You just may have to refurbish it from time to time. Concrete will last a little bit longer.
Right. Exactly. How does everybody else feel about that?
I think it needs a concrete pad.
Right.
I do too.
I mean, they're having to do it anyway.
I mean,
They need to fix it. They need to fix it correctly.
fix it right, yeah.
I mean, the other reason that these come to us, of course, is because if we were to identify, sometimes these things end up getting flagged to the point where we see that a change needs to be made to the ordinance, right? I mean, that the ordinance doesn't match the conditions on the ground. In this case, I can't understand anyone the concrete pad is a reasonable requirement, and screening with appropriate materials as defined by the town is a reasonable requirement. Mr. Fitzsimmons, do you have any thoughts?
No.
All right, so because we operate under Robert's rules for small groups, I'll make the motion that we send to the BZA a recommendation to deny this variance.
And a recommendation, can we make a recommendation too?
Oh, so we have a motion and a second.
Okay.
Okay. All right, so now we're discussing, and what were you saying?
Can we make a recommendation that we screen it and put it on a concrete pad?
Well, yeah, that's basically what ordinance says.
Yeah, I know, but
Oh,
Say it.
specific for those specific.
when we submit it, this is what we would
Yeah,
agree
right.
to.
That would be basically to the point of findings. Yeah.
And to Mr. Serio's point, there's the three components. So the location, the pad, and the screening.
Oh, that's
So-
a good point.
Yeah, the
If you want
location's
to
fine.
deny all three, then the recommendation of denial, you could also recommend approval, but require a pad and the screening if you're okay with the location.
Okay, say that again. The location, what are the three things?
The location,
Right.
the screening,
Right.
and the concrete pad.
Okay.
So I'm okay with the location.
Right. And all right, Mr. Flanagan, how are you on location?
I can live with the location.
Okay. Ms. Schmidt?
Oh, sorry.
All right, no, yeah, I'm just polling. You're okay with location?
Yeah.
All right, I'm okay with the location as it exists. Mr. Fitzsimmons?
If it's screened and the foundation is sound, yes. Location seems non-important.
Perfect. All right, yeah, thank you for bringing that up. Okay, so we have a motion. Is there any further discussion?
Can we modify the motion to say we're okay with the location, but we don't like the foundation and the screening?
Yes. So, so I'll amend the motion to deny the variance based on the concrete pad and the screening, but
Location okay.
that the location is okay. Do you have a second?
Sounds good. Second.
Okay, so, all right, so now we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Okay, great. Thank you, Lewis. All right,
I think we may have to wait for our direct.
yeah, I think so too. All right, well,
Is he alive?
we'll stand down for a moment.
Should we check on him, please?
Okay, so we moved on to planning director updates. Andrew.
The only update I have just to share is the comprehensive plan. We're going to continue to deliberate on that at the work session. I did share as part of this packet an initial draft consolidated vision statement stemming from the prior versions that we had looked at. Again, I don't think there's any intent for discussion on that this evening, but wanted to just share it with the commission in advance of the work session next week.
Thank you. All right. Commission members discussion? Anyone have anything for discussion?
I'd like to ask a couple of questions related to the comp plan preparation. And we talked on the phone last week, and is it contemplated that what is your idea? I'm going to repeat some of the questions that at the work session. Do you think there will be a timeline or at least a list of milestone steps?
My goal is to have a draft timeline for the commission to consider
Yeah.
at the work session. I will note that it likely is going to be longer than would ideally be desired because I have to be honest, my focus for the first 6 months of this year through July is probably going to be on making necessary updates to the UDO from changes coming out of the General Assembly.
Sure.
So what I have had initial conversations with Ms. Reed from Economic Development is potentially working with her to do some preliminary survey work, something from Planning Commission input that we can help to distribute to the community to try and get some feedback and input from them that can help to inform other things. So that at least can be going on concurrently. That isn't as time sensitive or time intensive for staff to work on. So as my focus may be pulled elsewhere during that time.
And in fact, it might be beneficial to have sort of a lengthy period to draw in input from the community. We
Send out the postcards sooner instead of later. To the
Right.
stakeholders.
Well, I mean, yeah. We'll get it all square.
Yeah, so I wasn't looking for a reason to complain about it not going at this.
No, again, that's my frustration in terms of like
Yeah.
the intent had been, but just with the way this General Assembly is going, it's going to likely necessitate some significant changes to the UDO.
So a relevant question, I guess that comes back to us is how can we the commission, while the staff is juggling a number of balls, what can we do to be constructive and move the process ahead in a way that doesn't get out in front of the department, but it makes use of the time that's available to us. I mean, an example would be, how do we organize the chapters? How do we where do we want to set goals? Where will we get the input for the goals? Will the department heads come and talk to us and give us their goals or modified versions of their goals from the annual report? Or those kinds of questions. Maybe we want to set an agenda for ourselves at the working meeting for a period of a couple of months, or, at least objectives for the meetings, for outcomes for the meetings over a couple of months during the period that you're just talking about here. Does that seem like a good idea, or is that?
I don't have a problem with it.
No, I think it's a great idea.
I do too.
Yeah, in fact, I think when we have our meeting on the 26th, these are definitely the questions. We're getting to the point where we can actually get out of language and into sort of process.
And it's, if anybody wants to borrow the textbooks from training, I have them. Drop me a text.
Too.
This is online, I think, still, right?
Yes.
The 216. So it's, as a point of departure, it's not a bad document. And I think, is it? I'm going to be betraying your confidence if I say you seem to think that the organizational format of the Prince Williams was not a bad reference, just to look at, just as an example of a skinny plan with a lot of substance underneath it in the background.
It has a lot of the components that I think would be worth exploring for us as we move forward, in terms of a lot of visual aspects, a lot of incorporation of story maps from GIS. So I think it's, from my perspective, it's a valuable example to take ideas from.
So personally, I think it's kind of exciting to have this opportunity, and I'm sorry that Connie's not going to be with us, but I think she's right. It's a real opportunity, and I think everybody here wants to rise to the occasion.
Andrew, can you send a link to the group to the Prince William plan that you guys were talking about?
Mm-hmm.
And we'll just make it homework that everyone will have looked at that before we get together for the work session on the 26th. All right, is there any other commission members discussion?
We might want to take the opportunity individually to take the existing future comprehensive plan and mark it up. See what we've got now, and identify what needs to go and what we want to add.
All right, let's do that one at a time. Yeah, and our goal. Our goal going into the February 26th work session will be to come out of that meeting with a vision statement, with some milestones, and with write some serious. And I agree with Mr. Fitzsimmons, some sort of calendar that we can maintain, even if so that the burden doesn't fall on staff.
Agreed.
Okay. All right, that sounds good. That's a good plan for next Thursday.
I like the burden falling on staff, but that's okay. We can help.
Also, while we're in commission members discussion, do you have anything else?
I don't have anything else.
You have anything else? Ann, do you have anything else?
Thank you very much.
All right, I have just one other item. I do think that it would behoove us as a planning commission to be updated on on what's going on in the General Assembly. So crossover day is this week, and so some things have passed one house or the other, but maybe to worry. So some things there will definitely be changes, and so that let's just say that at our March regular meeting, we could have the update of sort of where the General Assembly is, and that way, because it sounds like we're going to have our hands full on the 26th. So
We can postpone that, that's fine.
perfect. Yeah, but I think and I think it's good for the public to see that conversation as well. that General Assembly conversation. I mean, this will have impacts for all of us. Okay, so without no further discussion, right? Yeah.
So you've outlined the outcomes we want to have at the end of the February 26th meeting, and that basically outlines an agenda for us, which is
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and when we set the agenda for that meeting, I'll make sure that that's there. Okay.
Motion for adjournment.
All right.